Hey, I'm Coach Dave. This is the latest weekly update in my series of trying to qualify good for age for London and Boston using ChatGPT as my coach. To do that, I'm going to need to run under 3 hours 52 for a marathon before September 2026. It's now November 2025. I'm going to have 2 attempts. The first one in the spring of 2026, and then if I don't make it there, I'm going to go in the autumn. If you want to follow my progress so far, there's a link to the playlist at the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Not sure what that does, but apparently that's what you do. So, those of you who've been following along will know that Gemma, my ChatGPT coach, has been coaching me since October. It's now mid-December, or end of December. And I've decided to change things a little bit. In the 5 weeks we've got before we start the marathon build-up to Milton Keynes, I'm going to do more of a Norwegian Singles approach. It's Monday. We're out for an easy recovery run after quite a tough weekend with that great 5k PB and then quite a long run yesterday. So the legs are a bit dead. But if we take it nice and easy and listen to some good tunes, then should get between 8 and 10k in. I'll catch up with you later. So, having had a couple of days to think about it, I've been reflecting on the big success of Saturday and that 24, 35 or 39 parkrun PB, and I think conclusion I've come to is that, well, I haven't lost any weight, so it's not from that. I think it's a block of 8 weeks of consistent training at about 7 hours a week. I think that consistency and that additional volume is what's done it. So I'm hopeful with another 4-week block, similar block, maybe I'll get something similar. So now we're done, just around 8 kilometers, a little bit slower than the easy pace in the book, but I think with the elevation factor and the fact that it's a recovery, it'll be okay. So all good. We'll see how we go tomorrow with the 4 times 10 minutes. It's Tuesday and we're going out for a bit of a Norwegian Singles styled workout, 4 by 10 minutes. No track this week, so we're doing it on the road. So we'll see how we go. Could be interesting. Well, that was a pretty interesting experiment. So Norwegian Singles 4 times 10 minutes, all done. I made some mistakes though. Didn't program my watch right, so it wasn't showing the interval duration. It was showing the interval lap pace, and I hope it was wrong because I wasn't near hitting the right paces. And that occurred to me that I did my 5k in my Pro 4s, and so perhaps I ought to knock back my threshold pace a bit to take account of the fact that I'm running my Evo SLs. So that's one learning point, or 2 learning points actually. Set the watch up right and maybe knock the threshold pace back a bit. And then the third learning point is that it's a lot better to do manual laps than do it off the Garmin, because you don't always end up in exactly the right place. So I had 2 points where I was starting and ending my intervals, and I found it a lot easier just to press lap when I got to each of those places. It's Wednesday, we're out for an hour easy. After yesterday's 4 by 10 minutes, I posed a question to myself whether the fact that I set my new threshold time using my Pro 4s meant I should adjust it for running in my Evo SLs, my super trainers. And I posted that question on the Norwegian Singles Strava club. Yes, there is one. And James Copeland himself responded. And he said, no, your Evo SLs are within 1% or less in performance compared to your Pro 4s, so just use the same threshold. And actually, when I looked at it and adjusted for the elevation change, it pretty much worked out, as you'll have seen in the data that I provided on the screen. So that was cool, wasn't it? It's Thursday. We've dived out, hopefully in between the showers, to get this workout done. Plan is 10-minute warm-up and then 10 sets of 3 minutes, 1 minute recovery, hopefully at 3:08 per kilometre, and then 10-minute cool down. Hopefully I'll be able to film a couple of the intervals. Oh, number 2, still haven't got the watch set up right. I'm on this recreation field or park, not quite sure how far 3 minutes is going to be. I guess we'll find out. So 2 3/4 minutes is 1 and a bit laps, so I think we'll take that for now as it's more convenient, and maybe extend the lap in the future. 10 by 3 minutes done. Turns out the circle of the park, or the perimeter of the park, is 440 meters, something like that. So just a bit over a lap was what I was doing, which turned out about 2:45, 2:50 minutes, which worked pretty well. Not sure about the paces. Quick bit of mental maths says I was too slow, but I didn't feel like I was going easy. Felt faster than, well, at least as fast as park run pace from Saturday. So I'm going to have to look at the numbers later. Like I said, I didn't have my watch set up right again, which is a bit stupid. There we go, quite enjoyable, and definitely a good place to do the workout. I think maybe 1.5 laps is going to do the 3 minutes, so I need to work out the logistics of that a bit, but yeah, I think that's gonna work out great. Of course, some weeks it'll be on the track, won't it? So yeah, don't quite understand how to sort that. That's a problem for another day. Anyway, back home, some breakfast, some coffee, sit down for a bit and go out for Pilates. So Friday we're going out for an hour's easy, should be 8 kilometres. Just signed up for the Spine Virtual Challenge in January. Got 160 miles to run for the Challenger North. Last year I did the Challenger South, which is 100 miles. So 40 a week. It's a good way to get motivated. So I'll crack on with this and see you at the end. It's Saturday and we're at Leybourne Lakes for park run, and it's cold. I think I may have underdressed. On Tuesday I did the first workout, 4 by 10 minutes. That went okay. On Thursday I did 10 sets of 3 minutes, which was right-ish too. So today, as part of park run, my plan is to do the 6 by 6 minute session, and then we'll keep repeating that, sort of 3 easy, 1 long, 3 workouts for 5 weeks before we start the marathon build, and we'll see how we go. At the end of the 5 weeks I'll probably do another all-out park run test. So last week I got a PB 24:30. Be very interesting to see whether 5 weeks of Norwegian Singles type training creates an improvement. It would be impressive if it did. This park run done. Still hasn't warmed up. My hands are a bit cold, but otherwise I was okay. So 6 sets of 6 minutes. It was interesting that in the warm-up, when I did the 6 minute hard with the sweatshirt on, I was a good bit slower. But once I got the sweatshirt off, I was actually running a bit quicker than the target. So I'm not quite sure whether that's down to not being warm or something about wearing heavy clothing. I have to look into that. Anyway, really good run. Enjoyed it. Sunday, long run day. So this will be the last session in the first week of my Norwegian Singles training. Should be about an hour and 45 minutes, 15 kilometres maybe, I don't know. Should come up to about 70 kilometres for the week. I'll put the details and stats on the screen. It's felt pretty doable. I can't say it's easy, but I'm hoping that once I settle into it, it'll feel a bit more comfortable, because the build up next week, well, there isn't any. It stays pretty much the same for 5 weeks. So let's crack on. So 5 minutes to go. Coming up on 14 kilometres. So we're going to get close to that 15 that I mentioned at the beginning. Nice run. Felt a bit flat to start with. Had a gel at halfway, which definitely helped. And yeah, that completes the first week of Norwegian Singles. It's felt pretty good on the whole. I'll put the whole week up on the screen for you to look at. I'll also put a link to the playlist for the training I've done so far, leading up to an attempt to qualify for London and Boston marathons. And tomorrow week 2 of Norwegian Singles starts, which is exciting. Thanks for following along.